Got to connect to my headset. Connecting and
Welcome back, everyone. I'm just doing a weekly update in how everything's going and not going bad. I'll share my screen with the my Trade Locker live account, and then I'll also show you guys some feedback on what I think is gonna happen. Or if specific things happen in the markets, then that's when I'll start looking for entry. And let's see, I'm gonna start sharing my screen. All right. All right, you guys should be able to see my screen. Now I'm sharing AUD NZD. Remember last week I caught this sell from here down here and I caught a 1 to 5, almost a 1 to 6. Then what is this? I think I entered Sunday Sunday night. I entered right around here for a sell, which gave a 1 to 2. And because it gave a 1 to 2, that's the only reason why I entered. If it didn't give us a 1 to 2, I wouldn't have entered. I seen price around here and it was about a 1 to 1. Price crept up a little bit more. That's when I said, okay, well, if I take this trade, then it's going to be a 1 to 2. And as long as it's a 1 to 2, that's sticking to my trade plan. So let me actually show you guys my entry. So this is my entry. This is my live trade locker account. So you can see positions that I'm actively in is the AUD NZD sell. If I click on it, it should show us my entry, which on the probably the 15-minute, you'll see it mimics the entry that I said that I took around here. As you can see, this is the 15-minute time frame. And so this is where price consolidated right here, spiked up, sold, retest, sold. So now we're down here. So this is consolidation, spike up, close below, retest, and I sold within the retest, and now price is down here. So I anticipate for price to sell, and my take profit is down here, which gives us a 1 to 2, which means if I'm right, I gain $21 in equity. If I'm wrong, I lose $8.51 of equity. So roughly around 5% of my account's equity. And I continue to only risk about 5% of my account's equity until further notice. And it's going to be like that for a while. So don't expect any changes. Um, One thing I want to update you guys on is that unfortunately, I'm going to have to post a YouTube short of me doing 50 push-ups because I broke one of my trading plans already for this week. And the trading plan that I broke was to, if I'm getting into a trade, I stay in the trade, and if it's wrong, it hits my stop loss. If it's right, it hits my take profit. So that's my philosophy of getting into trades and staying in the trades and not just coming out of the trade. So you can see if we click on close positions, you can see my previous position that I had was NASDAQ. It was NAS 100. And even though I had a profit of $1.35, I think there was some commission that came out of that. But even though I came out of profit with that trade, it's still it's still an action I took against going against the way that I want to trade. The way that I want to trade is to get into the market and forget about the trade while paying attention to what's going on, just take serious trades. And at the time, I felt like it was I guess I just didn't think I could have thought a little bit more about the trade before entering. What I didn't like the trade looked good, but what I didn't like about the trade is that it it's just been consolidating for so long. If anybody's looking at these pairs right here, or not pairs, but if anybody's looking at these indices, NASDAQ and US 30, you can see that the daily time frame has been sitting here for like 4 days. You can see if I take out this tool right here, this is one, two, three, and then we're on the fourth candle. So it says 6 days that price has just been lingering here, which is not a good thing because there is going to be US news this week. And on top of that, the fact that there's going to be US news this week, you can also see that this is a double top. If you look at this double top that's sitting right here, a buy and a sell candle, both of the heights right here are the same price. If I hover over this candle, you see in the left-hand corner at the top, it says H19268.2. What does this one say? H19268.0, which is actually even worse because that means that this entire daily candle right here, it didn't even take out the previous high. So if we're expecting the market to manipulate, we should expect price to at least manipulate higher than this candle, not manipulate lower than this candle before the sell-off. I think that based on my based on the way that I analyze the market, I expect price to sell from where it's at. I expect it to sell from where it's at. Not sell right like right now, but somewhere in this area, I expect price to sell off and create a newer low. I truly still believe that we're bearish because the weekly indicates that we're bearish. The daily also indicates we're bearish. And if we look closely, we can see that the daily low is, I mean, the daily high, this is the daily high. So realistically, we could probably get this high taken out. There was no valid reason for me to sell right here, which is why I took profit. I only took $1 profit, but either way, I took profit, which means that I also need to update my Notion. So let me update my Notion and I'll show you guys what is this. Um, Today's date is April 14th and it's Monday, week two. So this is week two. All right, so this is my Notion. See, this is the trade that I took right here on the 14th. So AUD was taken on Sunday. This was taken NASDAQ and 2:30 p.m. So that's also not a good time to really enter unless it's I think a New York lunch like liquidity sweep key level. Yeah, there was some good daily areas of interest. 30-minute shift. If you can see how it looked before, 30-minute, but it shifted back to bullish. So, um, and then shifted back to bearish. So, internal to external was my not analogy. Me analyzing the market from internal to external in the daily time frame, weekly, dailies in sync. Outcome of this trade was $1 and I don't know if I should count the commission, like the fees. Probably not count the fees. Net P&L, $1.20. And then exit logic was other. So if it says other, I mean, I would probably just I'm gonna put I'm gonna edit this and just put hold the plug. Outcome win. Okay, so um yeah, so being that I went against my trading plan and I pulled the plug instead of let it hit stop loss or take profit, that means, and if I stayed in the trade and it went the way that I anticipated it without it hitting stop loss and it led right into take profit, then that would mean that I A, don't do push-ups, and B, would be risking about $7 for $40 or $5 for a profit of $40. However, I reanalyzed and felt that this actually isn't the right decision to make because I truly believe that this high right here would potentially get swept out, let alone these. These are definitely going to get swept out. So, um, I don't really have to screenshot this. I've already done enough work on the fact that, I shouldn't have either even entered here, but not only that, it's most likely going to get rated. So if I was to put an alert, I would look for a daily area of interest around this level above this wick. And first I'll start with weekly, then I'll go to daily. And on the daily time frame, I would look for areas of interest. So you can see for areas of interest, this is, and this is a fair value gap. So I think they call this one an inverse fair value gap. So with this being an inverse fair value gap, this would be a smart idea to place your area of interest above this wick. So instead of saying that one, like 1, 2, 3, 4, instead of saying that this is an area of interest, which it is an area of interest, which is probably why the wick came around here, I would probably say move the area of interest to this one instead, like right above it, because now we're also catching the imbalance that's resting above this wick and this wick, because there's no reason to even look for anywhere around here for area of interest because this imbalance has already been filled, but most likely buyers want price to get pushed up around this area of interest, this daily area of interest next. You can see this is the area of interest on the daily time frame because we have 1, 2, 3, and I can't find any more. But we've got about three daily areas of interest of like, rejection. We've got support, we've got resistance, we've got support, um, and then price broke through. So now we're looking for the retest, and based on the retest area, we should be looking at. I'm gonna put an alert here because this is clearly the daily high, and for some reason, I felt that this was the daily high, but when I looked closer, I seen this just left. You always have to keep looking left. The more you look left, not too far, but if you just look left a lot of times, in most cases, you'll see that there's a setup that most likely is, waiting to be played out. So, I do anticipate for price to push up again in this area of interest, and I'll set multiple alerts just so that I'm alert for when prices around this area so that I can start looking out for potential sell. And then my potential sell will most likely, if price delivers what I think it's gonna do, then I'll sell here. I would most likely be looking for, mm, I'd probably say like maybe a 30-minute shift, like a shift on the 30-minute time frame. Hmm. Because if you look at looking at the 4 hour, because the 4 hour is bearish. The 4 hour is bearish as long as the 4 hour doesn't close above here, then we're still bearish. But if the 4 hour closes above here, then we're bullish. So I anticipate, I'm gonna expect price to 4 hour. I'm gonna do 4 hour high. So 4 hour high, and I can almost guarantee you that price is gonna raid this. I'll set an alert for this area right here too, just so that I know when price takes out this wick. This was last Wednesday's. This was the high for last Wednesday. So yeah, price is most likely gonna take that out this week, but no guarantees. We'll see what happens. Price can consolidate and then drop here. Then if it wants to, it can take all week before uh, going to push up. And that can lead into next week, but I doubt it will. Hopefully we get some price action somewhere here so that we can take advantage of it and then go for a sell so that we can take out this low right here, create a new low. But yeah, we're overall bullish. Weekly's bearish. I mean, we're overall bearish. Weekly's bearish. Daily's bearish. 4 hours bearish. Um, Next, I'll just put that on my watch list again. But because I withdrew from this trade, it goes against my trading plan. So that means I got a 50 push-ups to post on my YouTube shorts. So that's a penalty that I got for myself based on other things that I'm looking out for. So I'm currently in this trade for a sell, which is currently running in profit. And this is a trade that I'm looking out for, NZD CAD. I think, yeah, for NZD CAD, AUD CAD, I'm looking for sells. NZD JPY, AUD JPY, I'm looking for sells. USD CAD, I'm going to take out of my watch list just because even if it sells, I'm really not gaining as much as I would gain on the other CAD pairs like NZD and AUD CAD. So I excluded that from my watch list compared to USD CAD compared to NZD CAD and AUD CAD is about a 200 point difference. The moves that'll happen on AUD CAD and NZD CAD this week are about 319 points, or roughly around 300 points plus. But if the move happens on USD CAD, then we're only going to get about a hundred point move, which is about a 200 point difference. And not interested. So for NASDAQ, I showed you guys for NASDAQ what my bias is. Now, US 30, it shows a similar setup. The thing is with US 30, the high that you'd be looking at will be right here. So it's not that similar, but it is similar because there's a wick right here and there's a high right here and there's a wick right here and there's also a high right here. Who knows, this wick could be swept out, but this is the ultimate high, the daily high. The weekly high is weekly high is actually all the way up here. So either way, we're bearish on the weekly time frame. The daily is bearish, and then the 4 hour is 4 hours also bearish. So with the US 30, I mean, if we were to look for the same move, the thing is, yeah, because we're even under the daily EMA, so we might just test the EMA. The daily area of interest. So if we're looking at daily areas of interest, I would say price price has an area of interest around. Let me look at the weekly first. All right, for the weekly time frame is actually a wide area of interest. It's like this, but if you look on the daily, that's actually, a, I mean, that's a reasonable area of interest. So I'm gonna just put, uh, I'm gonna just put daily area of interest. Yeah, so daily area of interest, and we're bearish. So next, I'm gonna also put 4 hour high. Now, we've got a 4 hour high, we've got a daily high, and the weekly high is all the way up here. But since we're looking at the daily time frame, we're trading on the daily time frame, we're just gonna pay attention to the daily's high, which is right here. 4 hour is right here. So we shouldn't really expect for the 4 hour time frame to close above this wick. But if it does close above this wick, it's not the end of the world. Um, I just highly doubt that'll happen because the amount of liquidity that should be pushing, ideally on maybe the 15-minute time frame, then we should see some type of signal to sell. I'll just keep 15 right there just so that I know I should look out for the 15-minute time frame. And if we go on like the 30-minute time frame, there should be like some imbalance and also the 15-minute time frame. So 30 in the 15-minute time frame. There's some type of imbalance here. I'll put an alert here, and then I'll just put an alert there and also in the middle right here. In the middle of that area of interest because we expect price to hit the area of interest. Um, so that we can start looking for sells. So this is something I'll look out for. So I made it gold. So things that are gold in my watch list means that price is likely it's likely on its way to that area sometime this week. So price should hit my alerts. Price should also enter my areas of interest when I tag something as gold. If I tag it green, then green means that I'm actively participating in the trade. If it's red or if it's uh like I don't know. I think this is like a probably like a navy blue, or if it's not navy blue, I don't know what it is. Um these are the DXY and the JPY currency. So if DXY is red, that means I'm expecting USD pairs to go in the opposite direction, meaning that the US dollar is failing right now. Um, so the opposite pair should probably be, um, buys. For example, if we're looking at NZD USD and I have this as red, labeled red, that means I'm going to be looking for buys on NZD USD. But if we're looking at USD CAD and I still have this DXY as red, then that would obviously mean that I'm looking for sells on USD CAD because that means we're going against the dollar. If it was JPY and I have it tagged blue. That means we are looking to sell on pairs like NZD JPY, AUD JPY. And if we're looking at if I tag this as red, JPY, currency as red, then that would mean we're looking for buys on pairs like CAD JPY, NZD JPY to go against the JPY dollar. Hope that makes sense. Next, on these other pairs like USD JPY, Euro USD, GBP JPY, USD CHF. These pairs I tagged, and lastly NZD USD, I tagged these as a light blue. If it's tagged light blue in my portfolio, that means that I'll keep an eye on it for the week, but I'm not too interested in trading it, mainly because it's the likelihood of it running up into the daily area of interest is very slim to none. So that means that it's probably not going to be something that we're going to look out to trade until maybe next week or the week after because it's just a pair that's not ready. It's most likely in the distribution phase, and during the distribution phase of the market, it's not, you don't have much conviction and you don't have much of a reason, and it could be a wide stop loss for you to, you know, a lot of times you want to really enter trades when it's in its accumulation or even manipulation phase. Typically, manipulation phase versus the accumulation phase, because a lot of times if you enter on the accumulation phase, then you'll get stopped out. And what I mean by that is if you see prices accumulating, then that means it's like this. Looks like it's consolidating, it's just going back and forth. Manipulation could look like this. So a lot of times people would enter right here, and then which is where I entered on the AUD NCD pair trade, and then you're looking to target maybe a low or a high. And then from there price could either retrace or correct and then continue going down, making newer lows, which means accumulation, manipulation, then it starts doing distribution, and then it can also hit a reversal. So knowing what's happening at the time of, like, just in real time, the market, knowing what's happening, what phase it's in right now, is it's important to know. And right now, it seems like we've been in the accumulation phase on US 30 and NASDAQ. So that's another reason why I figured it might not be a good idea to enter or stay in the trade, just because even though I'm risking maybe I think it was $6 or $7 on the account for about a $40 reward, it just didn't really make sense for me to stay in the trade because I am 99.999% uh sure that price is going to take out this, especially because it's an Asian high from last week. It's an Asian high. There's also imbalance above the Asian high to the left, and the daily high is all the way up here. Not all the way, because it's not even far. But yeah, so I wouldn't even say it's all the way up here. The daily high is directly to the left, just a little bit higher. So, and there's also equal highs. Not even like there's equal highs on the four. No, I mean, well, on NASDAQ, NASDAQ, you can see it looks like tweezers, and tweezers get wiped most of the times. So expect for that to happen. I would just rest, some money up top here, just because we know that there's a lot of Money sitting right there, just waiting to get wiped out. Um, and then, we're looking for some cells around here, but if we don't get some type of cell, some type of cell signals around here, then we could. We're bearish, so I just don't expect there to for a daily candle to close above this area. If the daily candle closes above this high right here, this green area that I put right here, then we can anticipate a reversal because now we'd be turning bullish on the daily time frame. But since the daily time frame's overall bearish, we're just gonna look for sells. And we're gonna look for sells so that we can catch you know, a good risk to reward and target this low right here. And I'll show you guys what else I'm looking at. Oh, if it has no color, no tags, then that just means that I'm just not interested in it because it is not like it just doesn't present really any type of um setups for the week. Like USD CAD does, like I said, provide some type of value for this week, as in sell, but I just don't expect to get much out of it if I was to enter the trade. Like I'd only catch about 100 points compared to catching it on NZD CAD and AUD CAD. So I opted out of that. XAU USD, so gold also has some sell momentum currently, but well the 4 hour is bullish. So it probably created a 15-minute didn't create a 15-minute. Did it? Yeah, actually. It's still bullish, and especially because the 15-minute time frame is also bullish, then we can probably get there's some there's some imbalance right here. So price could easily come sweep out the Asian low, probably during London or New York session. Then once that happens, you're most likely gonna see a buy and for a price to create a new high. So that's what you can expect for gold. This isn't a solid like it depends on how price reacts around here on lower time frame. But yeah, if price comes around here, I'll put my alert. This would also be against my trading plan just because there's no daily time frame to look left for. So if I take this trade, it's going against my the way that I'm trading. But the risk to reward that you can probably get on this is about a 1 to 8. Maybe like between 1 to 5 and maybe even a 9, 1 to 9. It's a good risk to reward trade. The weekly is obviously bullish. The monthly is obviously bullish. The daily's obviously bullish. What I don't like though is that this didn't even get swept. Like this candle right here is just floating. I would rather, if I was to take this trade, I would rather price come down here, especially because right beneath this Monday candle, you can see an imbalance right here, right underneath. So I would sit this one out. I'm not even gonna look at it, especially because I would owe YouTube another short video for doing push-ups. And I already owe you guys 50, so that would be 100. So let's just keep it within the parameters of the trading plan. And NZD USD probably not happening sometime anytime this week, because if we were looking at something to happen, to give us a reasonable risk to reward. I mean, 4 hours bullish, daily's bullish, like potentially, but like we would have to wait for price to drop back down. And even if price did drop back down, I mean, I guess I can put a alert right underneath Asian's low. 4 hour is bullish though. Yeah, so that is, what else are we looking for? We're looking for some type of setup on the, okay, so NZD CAD and AUD CAD. These pairs are in our daily area of interest, but it just seems like, and if NZD is pushing this high, then that must mean that AUD NZD should be close to our profit target. So if I switch back to ANZ, AUD, NZD, you can see that NZD is really strong. It's really selling. It's not selling as much as I want it to though, but we're still in profit. And I still anticipate for price to drop lower than this low so that I can exit the trade. Um, 4 hour time frame is bearish. Yeah, I definitely anticipate. That's why I got an alert here so I can continue looking out. I don't want to hold a trade just because I haven't even built enough cushion inside of the trading account yet. I'm only up $9 with a balance of 149. Margin available is 154. So this probably means that I'm up 3.2%. Not bad for a small account. Not bad. All right. Let's see if I can delete this. Yeah, what else am I looking out for? AUD CAD. Looking for a sell. This is about to hit my alerts and the daily time frame. So the daily is bearish. One areas of interest. Weekly area of interest is pretty similar to the daily. AUD CAD just hit area of interest. Um, 4 hour time frame must be bearish. Yeah, 4 hour time frame is bearish. This is a 4 hour high, so I just expect for price to not go past this high on the 4 hour time frame. If there's another daily area of interest on AUD CAD, I would probably say one, two, three. I'd probably say right here. Let's see how wide though. This is about a 37 range. So I'll still add this as a daily area of interest. And with that being said, that means that I'll set my alert here too. Because we're already in this weekly area of interest. Next is going to be this daily area of interest. And if that happens, we'll look for some market structure shifts, looking for these to be swing trades. These are not day trades, these are swing trades. Um, NZD is really taking off. And for us to look at this as a potential buy setup, we would have to look on the daily time frame for some daily areas of interest. And the daily area of interest that I can find would be one, two, when is this? 2020, this is 2022. It's kind of far back. It's like 3 years ago. One, probably say 2023. Okay. I think this would be, let's see, 1230. I mean, mm, we've got to, this one's tough. Like, it's just mad close to, just mad close to where price already is. This is not a high probability trade, by the way, and it doesn't give you much if the shift isn't small. If it's not a small market structure shift on like a 15 or 30-minute time frame or the hourly time frame, then it's not worth taking. If it doesn't give you at least a 1 to 2, it's not worth taking. Because I would only target the high. That's all I'm currently doing right now. I'm only currently targeting highs and lows. For USD, JPY, this is the daily high. This being the daily high. This is the daily and 4 hour high. All right, so this is the daily area of interest. I'd probably go for the higher daily area of interest. And the most recent daily area of interest would be around here. So one, two, that's a 4 hour. Uh, one, two, around three, four, five. Okay, so yeah, somewhere around here we expect price to go to. If price, I would probably delete this daily area of interest then because there's too many wicks, one, and on top of that, there's no imbalance on like the 4 hour time frame. There is some imbalance on 30-minute time frame right there, but just doesn't seem like it would be worth it to sell from here to here. So if we're expecting for price to at least push up to at least the 50% level in order to get us into the discounted range instead of staying in the premium range and paying premium, we can pay um in the discount area around here. After there's like a market structure shift, 30-minute, 15-minute time frame, then we can sell and create a new low. Then we've got Euro USD. Euro USD, we're looking at the daily high is right here. The 4 hour, I mean, I said high. Daily low is down here. 4 hour low is down here. So this is the 4 hour low. 4 hour low. And the daily low is right here. Oh, the wrong tool. Daily low. But yeah, those are the setups for this week so far. Um, and I'll continue to keep you guys posted, but my next video is probably just gonna be a weekly recap besides the YouTube short that I'm gonna have to do for the push-ups that I owe due to my trading penalty of going against the way that I want to trade. Ultimately trade. So I've got I'll probably leave that for I mean I don't have to leave it. I can do it tomorrow. As long as it's not raining, I'll do it tomorrow and get it out the way. And then most likely I'm not gonna come across any other mistakes, but I'll still hold myself accountable. And I'll show that I hold myself accountable, but that's pretty much all I have for the whatchamacallit for the video. I'm gonna upload it now. Hope you guys enjoy this video. If you guys have any questions, comment below. Like, comment, subscribe.